Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Voice AU vlog with Fan de Stools. Well, it was so exciting. I got to watch live tonight and to do some tweeting and things like that, because I came up with a great idea, and I said to my students from my course, I said to them that the next 2 Mondays is a religious holiday that I have, and there was an opening at on Tuesday night because the Taekwondo group got cancelled, and so we've moved the course to Tuesdays for the next 2 weeks, so it's great. I get to watch The Voice, the semi-final and the final live, which was great. So this week they started off with all the judges coming on and singing one of Ricky's songs, the Living the Vita Loca or something like that. And it's so funny, you know, because I really don't think they should get the judges to sing, or if they do, they should just each sing one of their own songs that they're really comfortable with, because it's funny, it's a little bit, they look less famous and less good when they're singing, and it's just because they, you know, they sing in big stadiums, those guys, and they're very famous, and when they sing on the little television, it just makes them look less famous, you know, a little bit like when movie stars go and do television series, you know, a bit part or something. It just makes them look less famous, so it was weird. Anyway, then we had, what they did was like a little concert, so every person from, you know, Team Delta, she has 2 people, and they both got up and sang, and then they said last week this was what, they weren't judged on that singing, it was just like a concert, and then they would read out who got voted from Australia from Team Delta to represent her. So we started with Celia, and she had another stupid song that Delta chose for her, Xanadu. I mean, you know, the week before it was Edelweiss, now it was Xanadu. I mean, nobody wants to buy Xanadu and have it on a playlist, okay? So that was hopeless. Thank God she's not being judged on it. And Steve, he did a lovely song, If I Could Change the World, and he was great. But Celia was the one that got through, so I was so happy about that because I love her. Steve, fantastic, what a great man, and he was so lovely in his acceptance of going and letting Celia get on with it, so that was great. Seal then had Harrison singing Unchained Melody, you know, great song, and Seal said it separates the men from the boys. Well, not really fair, because Harrison is still a boy, he's not a man yet, and so, you know, it was interesting because I did think, you know, he really swallows his voice. I have talked about his voice before on the vlogs, Harrison, and it was a bit pitchy, but he got the top note, and that is the really important one in that, so good on you, Harrison. And then we had Mitchell, of course, Anderson, and he did a lovely song, but you know, guys, the people that vote for this, they're young girls, so he was never going to get through. So Harrison got through, and Mitchell gave the loveliest speech, just such a beautiful speech, one of the best speeches I think I've ever heard, you know, besides my speeches, but that's different because I'm a professional and I've done the Rotary course, but he was really lovely. Then in Team Joel, Kiyomi Vella got up and did a Kate Bush song. She looked amazing, always, you know, one of the artists I think that has grown the most in the show. And Danny Ross, the magician, well, I think he watches my vlogs, because this week he went for the whole thing. He wore a cape, which was amazing. So I really like his voice. I don't remember what the song was. I never quite understand what he did, but he was great. And apparently that one was so close, that one was so difficult, but Danny got through. So there must be a lot of people who like magic in Australia. And Kiyomi went home, so that's good. She can finish her degree, and she has some lovely outfits for her graduation, so that's lovely. Ricky's team, Miss Murphy, she sang a very deep and meaningful ballad, sad ballad, and Ricky said to her, you know, have you been there in heartbreak? Have you had heartbreak? And she said, no, but I know other people that have. And I just really thought, wow, you've got to get out and live a little bit, Miss Murphy, you know. So anyway, she did that one. And Luke Kennedy, I mean, he's an amazing singer. He went back to his opera roots and did a song in Italian. So I'm so impressed that he could learn Italian in a week. That was amazing. And look, Luke went through. He was so deserving. And it's good because Miss Murphy, you know, has looked very tired for a long time, so she can go and have a little sleep. So after that, it's interesting, I should just say that I picked the 4 that were going to be the finalists, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Peter and Trevor, because both of them were there. So I've got a good eye for these things. Anyway, after that they all had to write their own songs. So that's what they did. Luke Kennedy, he started, and Ricky has really turned into a bit of a social worker really in how he works with the artists, and he said he likes to help the singers to help Australia with their songs, you know, so it's like singing therapy, not dissimilar to what I do, Ricky, so interesting. So Luke brought in a shattered glass to show Ricky, I think, what he wanted his song to sound like, you know, and so then he sang his song, the original song, and I tell you, the top note would have shattered some glasses. It was really high, so a little too high maybe, but incredible. I mean, he's an amazing singer. Getting a little bit too cool. Be careful of that, Luke. You know, I've seen a lot of, over the weekend, Peter was here with his theatre ladies, looking at all those musical theatre shows, and I kept having a look in while I was doing other things, and I thought, you know, I've seen that before, that musical theatre guy with the really cool swagger and things like that, and it's not really original. It's a bit music theatre, so be careful of that. Celia Paver, the most original artist. Celia did Candle in the Night. It's her original song because it's had 400,000 hits on YouTube from when she did it 4 years ago. So glad that she gets to sing her own song and doesn't have to sing shit songs like Xanadu anymore. It really suited her voice. It was lovely. And then Danny Ross sang a song about windmills and staying out with the windmill, and I'm going to build a dam. Look, I don't really know what it is about. I never really know what he's about, but I still loved it. It was lovely, and he was now dressed as a farmer, so it was a beautiful, lovely moment. And it was interesting because at the end, when they put the voting things down, he has the most amazing eyes, Luke, Danny, and he was just looking, you know, down the camera, and I thought, maybe he is not just a musician, but also a hypnotist, and that is why he gets all the votes, you know, because he was very penetrating. It was quite interesting, a bit spooky. And then, of course, we ended the show with none other than Harrison again. I think that every time nearly he is always the artist who ends the show. He gets the prime position. Yes, so, you know, we get it, the voice, you want him to win, you keep shoving him in our faces, you know. But you know, darling, Harrison, what has he got to write about? He's 18. What can he write in an original song? Oh, I have an essay, and you know, my mother told me to clean my room. I mean, what has he got to write about? It was very interesting how they worded it. They never said he'd written it. They would say Harrison's original song or whatever. There's no way that he wrote that song, I don't think, really. It was quite sophisticated, and it had a very sophisticated metaphoric lyric, and quite frankly I think that didn't write it. Anyway, so that's alright. And we finished the show with Tim O'Matic, a lovely dancer who's also from Canberra like me, and like the lovely Alex Gibson, who was also from Canberra. So I like that they're focusing on local Australians. So next week is the finals. That's it. It is over. It's the finals. We're going to know who the voice is. Now, Australia gets to choose, and I've done some research. I know that mostly girls vote. So I think Luke and Harrison have a very good chance of getting in because the girls are voting. I think also maybe some emo girls will vote for Danny as well. But I think the voice of Australia, the most original artist, who no matter what they sang in the whole season of The Voice, no matter whether it was a song we knew or didn't knew, they made it sound like they had written it, like it was being sung for the very first time in the most original way. And the person who did that is Celia Paver. Good luck to all the finalists. May the best woman win. Shush, Trevor. Hey.